So we're just going to start preparing the platinum foil veneers now for Johnny. First thing that he's doing right now is he's trimming the segment of the tooth a little bit, just because it's easier to handle the foil. So when he later adapts the foil, he can extend it, and it's just easier to handle, to take on and off. Der Willi kann das so gut. Der Willi, der kann auf Knopfdruck kann der sein Lachen aufsetzen. Das habe ich schon so oft gesehen. Auch in Japan, ja? Wenn die Leute kommen und ein Foto machen, der Willi, der kann dann auf Knopfdruck das Lachen.
Ah ja?
Ja, das da, genau. Mehr? Passt? Die anderen auch noch? Oder schreiben Sie noch mal etwas? Okay, so now he's adapting the foil, and as you can see, what he uses for that is mostly his fingers. It's the main tool to adapt the platinum foil is with the fingers. And you just basically take a sheet, you place it at the labial aspect and fold it over, and kneel it. In his case, he kneels it with his fingernail, the fingernail of his thumb. And stretch it over the incisal edge. So now he takes the tweezers, and you know, fairly delicate, sharp pair of tweezers, and you stretch the that seam, that hemline, that seam line there, and you can actually stretch. You can actually pull the platinum foil a little bit when you adapt it. You obviously need to be careful. If you pull it too hard, it just tears off. Man kann schon ein bisschen ziehen, muss man aufpassen, wenn man dran zieht, wenn man es zu fest zieht, dann kann es nicht abreißen. Ne? And, you know, adapting the foil with the back of an instrument should be something not too hard, not too rigid, slightly soft. And again, adapting the foil and stroking up and down, cutting off the excess. And as you can see right now, I mean, about, you know, as in terms of adapting the foil, about 90% of the work is pretty much done now. And it's just really very, very quick. You don't have to duplicate anything, yes, and then pour up and find out you've got a bubble, and then you have to pour it up again, and then you have to degas and you have to seal. You don't have to invest anything or press it. It's just really very quick. It just needs a little bit of practice to do it a few times, and you can adapt it very, very quickly. And you know, I think the fit is perfect.
What thickness is the foil?
0.02 millimeters. This is the one from the Centre Metal.
Okay, 0.02.
So again, the thickness of the foil is 0.02 millimeters. And the one that we have here is from Centre Metal, CM. You know where the incisal fold is. You know, this area needs to be sealed. You know, otherwise the ceramic can get in there. And you know, if the ceramic gets in there, it's really hard to remove the foil later on. In fact, it's sort of kind of impossible. You have to grind and very quick and easy. Most importantly, an inexpensive way of sealing this fold is with pink sheet wax. You know, another way of doing this is with a gold bonder, like Orifilm or something like that. So you can apply this, take it off, and solder it over the flame. This also works. But I mean, not everybody has Orifilm in their drawer, whereas everybody has pink sheet wax. It's just something you find in every dental laboratory. Another thing you can do with the pink sheet wax is you can block out undercuts on top of the foil, and then you just stack the porcelain on top, and the pink sheet wax contains a high amount of glycerin and really evaporates through the ceramic. It's a very, very easy, inexpensive way of sealing the incisal hemline or the incisal seam.
So the foil is only put where we cover, you know? So the rest you can...
It says in this case, you know, because it's an additional veneer, the palatal aspect is not really so important. It just has to hold the foil together because the veneer will be largely on the labial aspect and not so much on the palatal.
And if you crash the foil, it makes a retention. So not metal. That is good. I have normal ivory, I think so, I forgot this. And this also goes.
Ja, aber das ist jetzt nur für den Lückenschluss. Das heißt, wir schließen jetzt zwei Lücken und deswegen muss der Distal nicht für die was auftragen, sondern dass die beiden Lücken ja quasi zueinander schließen. Ne? Und deswegen ist das kein Problem. Sealing the adjacent teeth here with Magadur. This is very important. This is, it's a mistake that I've sort of seen quite a lot now in the course during the last 2 days. Before you can separate the model, you have to seal it first. If the model isn't sealed, you can separate it, but the ceramic will still, you know, the moisture will still migrate into the model. You have to seal the model first and then separate. Just separating the model doesn't do very much, it has to be sealed.
Ich habe wie gesagt A3,5 oder sowas ähnliches, gell?
Am Johnny? Weiß nicht. Das ist ja wurscht, oder? Das ist ja nicht viel, das ist egal. Das ist 2 CLO, ein bisschen OT, oder?
We don't care.
Okay.
That's not ours.
That's only for Johnny, it doesn't matter, the color doesn't matter, we'll make it A4. We've got A3 dent in here, enamel 59. To soften the dentin, also a little bit of the enamel 59 into the dentin, because otherwise the dentin by itself could be a little bit too opacious, and then you see a separation line or a cut-off line within the little veneer. So just to make the dentin a little bit less opacious and to blend in better with the enamel. CLO for the transition, to have a perfectly clear transition. PS0, a little bit of white for Johnny. Flash up his smile. You're getting PS0, mate. And this here is Willie's favorite enamel. This is SI2. It's really, particularly beautiful for additional veneers or platinum foil veneers. It's a very very natural looking enamel, very similar to, very similar looking to real enamel. SiO2. Universal liquid?
Normale Modellierflüssigkeit habe ich.
And modeling, yeah, is liquid. Let's nehmen wir das. The whole just
no sugar.
Okay, yeah, sorry, it's place liquid, fine. I thought it was gel. Yeah, cool. So again, this is the same thing that he did before. These are just a few drops of glazing liquid, to increase the surface tension. If you add a little bit of glazing liquid, 1 or 2 drops, or universal liquid, doesn't matter. It's just, you know, the ceramic doesn't dry out as quickly, and it sort of stands better. It's easier to build.
Thanks.
Das ist Dentin, 59.
Das ist JSO.
PSO, SI2, CLO, SI2. Okay. Das tun wir danach dazwischen mischen, gell? SI2 und CLO. So the powders here actually, you know, they're actually simple. I mean, really, this time. They really are actually simple. There's not a lot of powders you need for foil. It's not a very complicated build-up. So it just has A3 dentin mixed with a little bit of 59 pure, Si2, CLO, and PS0. That's it.
Sasha, what are the transition dentings? What are they mixed with dentin?
The transition dentins are supposedly, you know, normal dentins.
A little bit weaker, just a little bit weaker.
Less opacious.
Less opaque.
So because now, well, Naoki used to mix Si a lot into the dentins to make it more. In the end, he called this transition dentin to make it more translucent. So they're based on this sort of translucency idea, but they have a higher fluorescence, so that, you know, when you add Si to the dentin, you make it more translucent, but also less fluorescent.
Yeah.
Whereas they are, you know, less translucent, but with a sort of similar fluorescence. So you put them on a black cloud, they look the same as normal dentin.
So for the transition here inside the ledge, we need some diffuser. That we take dentin, thin, but otherwise we get a line.
Cut-off line. Okay, so
We want a length a little bit, yes?
So you want to make this tooth a little bit longer, and for this to work, you actually have to block out the tooth's own translucency in that area. So if you just continue with an enamel, you would see a cut-off line there. So you mask this area there, you mask this transition area there with a little bit of dentin. This is Si2. Si2. PS0. Si2. Enamel 59. Enamel 59. And then this is the dentin A3, which, as I said before, also has a bit of 59, about 20% 59 mixed to it.
Okay, komm, warte. Nein, das kannst du.
Dentin A3. So it's again here in this area there, you know, towards the proximal, because the veneer will extend into this area. You have to block out the translucency of the tooth, and that's why this dentin. And also because you apply a very small amount, you know, that's why you mix the 59 into the dentin to make it softer. Otherwise, the transition from the dentin to the enamels might be a little bit too harsh. Okay, make soft transitions. Si2. SR2. PS0. SI2. SI2. Still SI2. PS0. Enamel 59.
No.
Ah, sorry, CLO, was it? Sorry, CLO. So the CLO goes on the outside, and the CLO is very clear, and it marks, it creates this transition area to the tooth. This is what gives it that chameleon effect. It takes on the color of what's below. Now the thing is also important here is that you're firing the ceramic directly onto the platinum foil, and platinum foil is an element which is very heavy. It radiates heat very quickly. It's very sparse, like you can make it hot and immediately touch it. It takes heat on quickly and lets go of it quickly. So when you fire this, the heat reflects into the ceramic. And the ceramic is very, very thoroughly baked. And also we fire a little bit higher at 910, 915, okay? And what this does is that you have a very homologous glass. It's very clear, really very clear. Whereas if you do refractory, for instance, refractory, you have continuous degassing. Because you make it wet before you stack and so forth, and the gas comes out of the refractory and results in little gas bubbles inside the porcelain. It's not quite as clear as when it's done on platinum foil. And also the other thing that you notice is because it doesn't have that many impurities and little gas bubbles in it. It appears to be stronger as well, because you can go extremely thin with platinum foil, very, very thin. And you pull out the foil, and you think, well, it's going to break, but it doesn't, because it's a little bit harder. It doesn't have those gas bubbles in there. And again, more dent in there for the approximal area. PS0. PS0. and the lift off of the foil. And this is why he's trimmed the die in that area there. It's just easier to lift off, you know, because it's got a smoother transition there. It's easier to lift off. And then it comes off onto the blotting paper.
No touch.
Prevent, you know, try to touch it, don't touch it. And then place it on the firing peg. Serrated tweezers.
Surrogation. South Africa. Surrogate mother. Ronaldo did.
Come on. Never worry. That's on. Darren is leaving. Der Darren geht jetzt, ne?
Oh,
Ja,
okay.
sein Zukunft.
Darren. Have a nice rest of your weekend. Thank you.
Why? What's happening? Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Mr. Darren, see you later, mate. See you.
Cheers, Stuart.
Cheers. Cheers, Darren. Okay, so you know when you have to go over the incisal edge, obviously that is where you have, you know, where the seams are folded. This is where you have the most amount of material, and this is also where you will have the most amount of, you know, gap. And one way of reducing this gap is by very gently slicing over this with a diamond disc. This actually works quite well because the diamond disc it reduces the platinum foil without tearing it. If you sort of grind this with a stone or something, or burr like a tungsten carbide burr, you will tear the foil. You know, with a disc, you can do this very well. Also later, when we trim the ceramic, we do this mainly with a disc, because you know you can trim the ceramic very thinly with a disc without splittering off, without chipping it off, and from slipping in between the foil. I usually need to have the foil like that. So just sealing the seal there, but also stabilizing the foil in this area there when we take it off. It's not just sealing, it's also stabilizing the foil. It makes it a little bit more stable when you take it off, so it doesn't bend open that much. And again, the wax will evaporate through the ceramic during the pre-dry.
It's also goes strictly. That strange color.
Strange color.
For John.
Oh, the microphone's on, sorry. Very strange color.
Huh?
This is Dentin A3. Dentin A3 mixed with the enamel 59, about 20% enamel 59. Now we're building up quite a lot here because we're trying to equalize the centrals here, so we're sort of converting one of the laterals into a central. So we have to build out quite a bit of material, and if we just did this with enamel, you probably end up with a grey looking color there. So you have to constitute the color from scratch. And that's why I put on the code of the A359. And the A3 again by itself would be a bit too dense. So you put 59 into the A3, make it a little bit more translucent and softer. Otherwise you have one veneer that is grey and the other one is fine, you know? So it's trying to equalize the color. Block out, like really something, like, change the color of what's below.
Yeah, I always find
So die Farbe ist nicht so schlecht.
Ja. Das ist die andere Folie noch nicht gebrochen, einfach nur rudimentär, also geschliffen, dadurch ist die halt gebrochen, aber nicht richtig gebrochen als solches. Das einfach als passiert. So, you know, because here we're building up a fair bit of a substance there. You know, a bit of a cutback is also required. Proximal cutback.
Wir haben ja unten auch noch den natürlichen Samen, also das ist ja nicht viel falsch. Der ist schon mit anberechnet.
So we don't want this too thick because we know that there's a natural tooth below. So we take this into consideration. We take this into account. Okay, this is like a mini incisor frame. This is a mixture of lateral segmentation, SI2, 59, PSO, and really the same as what he did with the 3-unit bridge. He applies it from the lingual, from the palatal aspect. SI2, seal out, bit of mix. PSO. Enamel 59. Making 63 mixed with the dentin A3 and 59, so on top of the incisor frame to imitate just a little bit of, not really mamelons, because Johnny wouldn't have those sort of distinct mamelons, but a more chromatic zone in that area there. And then to a mixture, mixing more 59 into this for a little bit of an halo. This is a white stain. Instant 11 white stain mixed into the dentin 59, create a dentin of higher value. Over the peaks of the mamelons, just over the peak, just on the very top. A little bit of illusion. Below the incisor edge, about 3 to 4 millimeters below the incisor edge. Bit of a brownish stain. Instant 13, 14, instant 12 and 14, something like that. Just a bit of a brownish stain. And then cover the cover this area there where the mamelons are with 59. Enhance it a little bit again. Enamel 59, diffuse the mamelons, enamel 59, and then SI2 in between. SI2 in the periphery. SI2. CLO over the illusion, and then mixing a CLO and an Si2 half-half, intermixing the two powders. Over the enamel 59 and the SI, the labial aspect there. So this is a Si2 and CLO. A little bit of pure Si2. Another little bit of pure Si2. A little bit of Si2 towards the neck. A little bit of the, yeah, okay, so I mean, you can either use the Mamelon mixture, or he's decided to take a bit of stain or Innova and mix it into the dentin, and sort of is a, a somewhat similar effect. It's like a more chromatic dentin color there. But if you mix it with the stains, it's not as opacious, whereas if you have Macon in there, it's more opacious. TI5, which is a greyish, very greyish enamel, TI5. TI1, which is blue. Mix them together, make the TI5 less strong, less grey. PS0. This is a dentin A3 with a bit of 59. This is the mixture of Si2 and CLO. Si2 and CLO. Dentin in 59 for the palatal halo there, the structure where the abrasion would normally be. Highlight this area a little bit. And slowly extract the moisture with a blotting paper from the proximal aspect, not sort of flat on the not flat on the ceramic, because you push the layers around, and also the blotting paper takes the moisture very slowly. Carving in this line is the same as in the bridge, not really removing the material, but pushing it aside, making a little bit of a trench there to fill up with the TI1 and TI5 mixture to create this sort of bluish, like a bluish wedge. Now, yesterday you did this with SO10, which is suitable for a lighter color and for more, a slightly more aged appearance, for a slightly more aged look. TI5 and TI1 because it's a more greyish sort of, aged teeth have more sort of greyish wedges, they're not that blue.
So ungefähr.
Si2 and CLO. Dentin A3 with 59. And Si2 CLO and the mixture of the TI5 and TI1, stroking it across, up and down, interrupted a little bit. Now taking it off, reinforcing the mesial incised and distal incised area, the proximal areas with a bit of dentin 59. Not too translucent, so we won't get graining there. Need to block the light a little bit there, and we also need to fill up a bit of bulk, a bit of material there to close the gap. You can't just do this with enamel or something, because otherwise it will be too grained and the light just passes through the enamel. So we have to block the light a little bit there with the dentin mixture. PS0 to frame the this sort of bluish aspect there a little bit. Same on the distal. Highlight this area so you frame the blue aspect with a bit of PS0 left and right.
Willing to look up to separate restoration at different times.
Well, in this case it's kind of tricky. It would be very tricky to do it in one.
No, on one. Okay. I have a correction now.
So this is a little bit of the cracking part there with a glass stick, an R-gate glass stick. You know, as I said before, the foil gives into the shrinkage of the ceramic, and you have to anneal it, you have to readapt it. And you know, of course, as a side effect, you know, when you readapt the foil, the ceramic on top breaks. But this is not a problem. We fill those cracks up with a lower fusing glazing powder, and this doesn't really have. There's no problems with it. It doesn't result in a weaker restoration or anything like that. Not at all. In fact, later on you can't even see it. So readapting the foil, breaking the ceramic on top, readapting it, especially in those areas there, interproximal areas, very hard because this is where we have the most bulk of material because you're closing the gap. This is where the most amount of material, so it's kind of hard. You have to press to crack it there, but this is typically where it bends open. It bends open due to the shrinkage of the ceramic, and also when you take it off the die. But this is also the reason why they fit so well, because they can only come off in one certain way. This is the path of insertion. If you do refractory and you sandblast this later, you know, this is too tight, you have to fit it and grind it, it's a lot harder. Whereas this only comes on and off in a certain way. This is the glazing powder. This is the glazing powder that we use for sealing the cracks that result from readapting the foil. Again, there's no problem with this. There's no there's no issue with this from a materials point of view. There's no problem with that. So we just fill the glazing powder into the cracks and then immediately start layering on top. And please also notice that he does this free-handed, so not on the model, not even on the die. He holds the veneer on the foil with the tweezers and works on the shape while the other veneer is in the furnace. Just sort of concentrating on the shape. That's the Dentin A359 at the white stand, the Instant 11. SI2. PS0. PS0. SI2 and nothing, SI2. PS0. PS0 and Si2CLO. CLO. This is the dentin A3 with a fair bit of 59 in it, it's about half-half. PS0 and dentin A1 59. Si2CLO. This is dentin 59 PS0. It's a little bit of a highlight there on top. PS0 pure. Again on the line angle there. Make this lighter, kind of what he did today with the stains, just make this lighter. This is dentin A359 and PS0.
You never will be beautiful, but you'll be a little bit less ugly. But so you can continue with your life more easy.
You get by better.
I thought your boyfriend sitting over there making veneers for
It just looks at it as they were. PS0 for the line angles. Highlight the line angles. Si2 and CLO.
You don't want him anymore? Then we make this. So other girls grab him.
I want a new husband.
Hear that, Willie?
Yeah, she's finished quick.
Wants a
Hey.
husband.
Doesn't muck around.
She wants a new husband, not a lover. Thanks very much.
So we can stop in any position or any place because we are in an animal, you know. So we have no preparation.
Da kann ich mir das kurz ausleihen, das Privatwagen.
Ja.
Ini apa sih? Alah, usah ini. Ini tempat bikin. Yeah.